Hello folks, how's it going? I watched a film last night that absolutely blew me mind. It wasn't amazing, it wasn't the best film I've ever seen, but it was good, and there was some just, when I say blew me mind, it was nuts. It was absolutely mental, and it was Mandy. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. It was a Michael flipping bloody Nicolas Cage film. Um, and it wasn't strictly Lovecraftian. I'm finding myself saying that quite often these days, that it wasn't strictly Lovecraftian, or it wasn't. But I'm finding recently there's lots of stuff coming out with little hints of Lovecraft, cosmic horror, just little cosmic traces of cosmic horror in stuff. But this Mandy film, it was weirder than weird. It was bonkers. It was bonkers. I was sat there and I was just going, "What the hell is going on here?" I've said that. I've said that about a lot of films recently, but this was just crazy. This was it was nuts. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm going to stop saying that now because it's just going to be a 10-minute rant of me saying it was nuts. It was crazy. It was bonkers. The story is right. Nicolas Cage is like a lumberjack, and he lives in the hills or in the forests with his missus called Mandy, and it's very very weird. Okay, so they live this peaceful life. It seems they're very much in love. Um, and then one day she's walking down the road, and there's this camper van full of absolute fucking weirdos that drives past, and they're all looking at her, and there's this one main dude, like they're just so creepy and freaky, and they drive past her, and there's like this slow motion bit where they're driving towards her and she's walking towards them and their eyes meet. And then later on it shows you these bunch of weirdos in there wherever the hell they live, and they're fucking weird. They're fucking weird. And the main guy tells his most loyal follower, he's some sort of cult leader or something. He tells his most loyal follower that he wants that girl. Get me that girl. So they go into the woods. This loyal follower and a couple of his other weirdo mates. They go into the woods, and he sort of he blows this sort of, not like a horn, but like some sort of mouthpiece that makes this strange noise out into the woods. So it's all very weird. All that, just even the close-ups on people's faces, just so much weirdness. All right, I'll stop saying weird now. All right. I'll tell you what. Right, when I'm talking about these films, I sit there and sometimes I think about what I'm going to say, and sometimes I don't. But sometimes when I do, it comes out all calm and articulate. But when I turn the bloody mic on and I press record, I start sort of racing and garbling, and I can't think properly. And it don't help when you've watched a film like this, which when it ends you can't think properly. So anyway, it blows this mouthpiece, and out of the woods come these, and there's all this neon sort of lights in the woods and around them. Three bikers turn up. I think they're bikers, or one of them's driving a quad, and they turn up, and it's not very well lit, so you can't quite tell if they're human and just fucked up, or if they're some sort of otherworldly beings. Like one of them's, like, for example, one of them was wearing all leather, but he's got spikes all coming out of him. Another one is like, what we established later on is like he's either wearing like a real rubbery suit that's all slimy, and he's in the suit, or he genuinely is just this slimy creature thing. I don't know. Another one is just his fat dude, this fat, bald, again, creature-ish looking dude. But anyway, they turn up. They have some sort of, like, I don't think they have a conversation with these weird hippie sort of cultish fellas. I don't think they even communicate. Well, they may communicate in some way or another, but I don't think they talk. But anyway, so these weird biker creature, stroke dude things, whatever, go to Nic Cage's house, and they tie them both down, and they kidnap them both. Then we don't see them, these weird biker dudes, again in this sequence. We just, the next thing we see is Nicolas Cage's character, can't remember his name, and his missus, Mandy, tied up. And the next bit is they're talking to this Mandy. The cult leader's talking to this Mandy, and he's talking to her about how he's, I can't remember what he said to her now, about how she will be one of them and you'll love it and blah 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 blah. The next minute he stands up, he's got his fucking robe on, stands up, opens it, and he's just got his dick out. He's naked, he's got his fucking dick out, and he's just standing there. And I think she starts laughing at him. It's all psychedelic and weird. It's strange. And this Mandy starts like howling with laughter at this dude, and he gets like proper embarrassed, so he should. But it's just, honest to God, it's as weird as it sounds. I'm probably not doing it justice. I never do. But anyway, they've tied up Nic Cage's character with barbed wire, so he's all fucked up, and I think they've stabbed him as well. They've stabbed him in the gut. And because this Mandy has been laughing at the cult leader and isn't seem to be maybe going along with how they normally and probably kidnap and indoctrinate people, they put her in a bag, a sack, hang her up off a tree or whatever, and they set fire to her in front of Nic Cage, who's tied up with barbed wire, and he's just, it's quite a hard scene to watch, because as soon as it's on fire, the bag starts, like, she's in there and she's frantic trying to, and he's there sobbing his flipping heart out. And I tell you what, it's good performance. Nicolas Cage is one of these chameleon characters. He's in some films that are absolute dog shit, and he gives some terrible performances. Other films like this and others, many others, but this, I tell you what, he does a real good job. He's so convincing. And there's a few scenes where he well, I say a few scenes from this point on, mainly he goes absolutely nuts. He just plays this absolutely crazy mental geezer, and he does it well. He's nuts. He goes absolutely nuts. So anyway, they burn his missus, right? They bugger off, they leave. He gets out of his arms chained up with barbed wire and that, and he gets out, and he goes over to the charred remains of his Mandy, and he's literally like, her head is still sort of, you can see her head is still sort of in the shape of a head, and he sort of holds it, and suddenly the wind just blows it away, like the dust and that. She's just dust and ashes. And he goes back to he goes to a caravan, that's right, and sees a mate of his who turns out to be Bill. I think it's Bill Duke, his name is. He was in Predator. Bill Duke, is it? I can't think of his name in Predator. I think it was Duke in Predator, wasn't it? No, Mac. It was Mac in Predator. But yeah, Bill Duke, that's his name. He's looking old now, I'll tell you. But he goes to his house, and he's obviously a mate of his, and he gets all his weapons, and he's telling Bill Duke about what the hell's gone down. And when he's telling him this, Bill Duke sort of sits up and he says, you know, I'm aware, I've heard stories, I know about this. your chances of survival, if you're going to, you know, try and get revenge on them, are like zero. But Nic Cage don't give a shit. He don't give a shit, does he? So the next bit, he's forging. I don't know where he's found all this stuff, but he's forging some sort of axe. I didn't get the explanation that, like, I couldn't tell whether there was some sort of explanation before this. He was making this axe as to what the relevance of it was. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I didn't. I wasn't paying enough attention. But anyway, he's forging this goddamn weird looking axe, and then he's off. He's off with his crossbow and his axe and whatever else he's got. And he locates the bikers, and he's in the bushes. Two of them go by. These demonic, weird things, bikers. And the last one comes along, and poof, he shoots his crossbow off and gets him. It hits him, but this thing, biker thing, it's not dead. He's sort of trying to get up, but Nic Cage jumps in his truck and absolutely floors it at this creature. Now, this bit was a bit hard to understand because I thought that, the creature would be gone, that the biker would be dead. But Nic Cage's car, when it hits him, it seems to like just shoot off the road and overturn. So it made me think this creature's either like superhuman, or I don't know what happened there. Really, it was a bit confusing, that bit. But anyway, Nic Cage's car overturns, and then he wakes up again because he's unconscious. He wakes up and he's flipping chained to a pipe. And at that point, I was thinking, oh God, this revenge mission didn't last long, did it? You know what I mean? First little bit of action, and he's fucked again. He's caught. He's tied up, and he's handcuffed to this bit of piping. And this, like I described earlier, this weird creature that's almost like in like a rubbery suit that's like slimy, and he's sitting on a table in front of where Nic Cage wakes up, and Nic Cage just wakes up and starts making a noise. And this thing comes over to him. I think it slashes his t-shirt, and Nic Cage goes, "That was my favourite t-shirt, you arsehole," or something like that. It's quite funny actually, because he's like faced with this demonic creature, and all he cares about is his t-shirt. So this creature walks away, then it comes back, and at that point, Nic Cage has noticed that this bit of pipe is loose. So he yanks his arm away, and a bit of pipe comes loose, and I think he kills this thing with a bit of piping. Smashes its head in. Does he smash his head in, or does he stab it? I can't remember now. Either way, it's dead. And then he goes downstairs and he finds this big fat, like I said, there was a big fat bald dude creature type thing. And I don't know what it's doing. It's got this dead body, and it's like breathing in. It's a weird bit. It's like he's breathing in whatever's coming out of this dead body's mouth. Well, it looked like that anyway. It's either that or it's flipping kissing it. I don't know. I don't really know. Like I said, it was weird. It was really weird. But anyway, that's right. Oh, this big fat dude creature thing. He's doing this with a dead body, but then he's also got a telly on, and there's porn on the telly. And as Nic Cage comes up behind it, this creature sees the reflection behind him, like, so he turns around and there's a bit of a scrap back and forth, and Nic Cage beats him. Nic Cage wins. Yeah, Nicolas Cage, and so he kills them. So that's it, and I think that was the last of the weird creature biker dudes. So I'm guessing he did kill the other one with the car. Anywho, he sets off in search of these Jesus freaks, I think, as he calls them, and he tracks them down and he kills them one by one in various different ways. I think he chops one of their heads off. He rams a knife or something. No, he rams the opposite side of his axe, a pointy side of his axe, down one of them's like into his mouth. Another one, he he pins him down and grabs his head, and literally just pushes that hard that it sort of caves his head in. That's pretty cool. And then he tracks the main guy. This is a bit weird. He's in this like tunnel on his quad bike, and I couldn't quite tell if he was. At first, I thought he'd gone into a tunnel, and then he comes out into this big opening, and I couldn't quite tell if it was him coming out of the tunnel into like the outdoors, or if he was in this tunnel when he suddenly comes out into this huge goddamn opening inside the cave that, you know, was that big that it looked like looked like it was outside. I'm going to go with that because that to me is the better, more creepy, more interesting scenario, that he was going through these tunnels and he come out into this huge opening in a cave, and in the middle of this huge opening in the mountainside or whatever, in this tunnel, when he was first in this tunnel, my first thoughts, as it always is, was he's going through some sort of portal or passage or something. This is where the Lovecraft sort of stuff come in. And to be honest, all the way through, and like I do with a lot of films, I'm sitting there thinking, you know, it's not overly Lovecraft at the moment, but it definitely, pardon me, it definitely has the potential to just slip into that territory. You know, just one of them films that's so weird that at any minute it could just bring you what you think could happen. So anyway, he's going through these tunnels and he comes to this massive opening, and there's a church, like a wooden church that they're sort of in the process of building. And he goes into the church. And he finds the main dude. Actually, you know what? I think the main dude. Oh, damn it! I think it was him who gets his head crushed at the hands of Nic Cage. God damn it! I wish I could remember his name's character, Nic Cage's character. Stop calling him Nick bloody Cage then. But yeah, that's who he crushes. And there's some really weird bits there's some really weird bits in this, right, where there's like, they're like almost like dream sequences, but they're cartoon dream sequences where Nic Cage keeps dreaming about his Mandy, and she's like naked and swimming, and like and then she's laying in front of this, like in cartoon form again, she's laying in front of this creature, this monstrous bloody creature thing in the dream. Weird. But anyway, once Nic Cage has killed the main cult leader, he there's some pretty cool moments as well with his axe. I tell you what, he's a badass in this film. He really is. And he kills the dude anyway. He gets back in his car to drive away, and he sees this sort of, his face is soaked in blood and shit like that, and he's put in one of them typical Nic Cage like crazy faces. I'm sure you've seen, you will have seen something with him when he pulls these faces, and it's like it's between funny and unnerving. You know what I mean? And he's sitting there in his car and he's looking across, and he sort of imagines that he sees Mandy, and he's sitting there staring at her. Just this goes on for a minute or two. Pardon me. And then he drives away. He drives out of these tunnels and that. But this bit at the end, this got the biggest reaction from me, because one other thing, at the beginning of the film when they're laying talking, Mandy and Nic Cage are talking about what their favourite planets are, and it goes a bit cosmic. They're talking about the universe and stuff like that, and that kind of made my ears prick early on. Obviously, I forgot to tell you earlier because I'm a goddamn dimlo, aren't I? But yeah, and right at the end of the film, this is great. This bit, he's driving out these tunnels, and you see him in the car, and he's driving, and the camera pans back from the road that he's on, and it is this neon soaked otherworldly landscape. There's just jagged rock, you know, there's no mistaking, and there's like a couple of planets in the sky as well. And it's really good shot, man. It really got me. I was I was getting tired as well by that point. I was still hooked and I was getting tired, but when this last scene came on, I shut out my chair and I was like, oh yes, here we are. You know what I mean? I was like a kid. And that literally was the end. But it leaves these questions of what, I mean, all the way through, there is this, like I said, there's lots of neon lighting and strange sort of scenery. But what it left me thinking was, now, has this whole film, are they literally on another planet or in another dimension or something during the whole film? Or has he gone through these tunnels or whatever, which literally were a portal or a gateway or whatever, and he's come out the other end now and he's in this other dimension? Like I say, I just don't know. I don't know. And I haven't even Googled it yet. I might Google it in a bit and see what other people are saying. But my theory is that, well, like I say, the whole film was either set in this other dimension because of the strange sort of imagery in that and the lighting. Even at the beginning where he's chopping a tree down because he's a lumberjack, there's a sort of strange light to it all. Or again, like I said, he's gone through this tunnel, he's gone through some sort of gateway, and he's in another dimension, another planet, another world, another realm, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, did you hear that? I'm sitting in my flipping lounge. A postman just stuck a flipping parcel through his letterbox. And do you know what? I'm not even going to edit it out. Good job he didn't ring the doorbell, isn't it? Want me to sign for something? What was I saying? Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I'm going to pretty much leave it there. I'm just going to say it was a pretty good film. Very weird, very otherworldly, very psychedelic. Very gory. It's got typical crazy Nic Cage, who gives an awesome performance. I think he should have got a flipping Oscar for that. Although the Oscars probably wouldn't recognise a film like that, would they? It's too weird for them. Arty-farty shit that they put out. Like that goddamn Starfish. I don't know if you've heard me review of that. Flipping out, that film let me down, I tell you. Oh, man. Anyway. Gonna leave it there for now. Mandy review. Definitely watch it because it's weird as hell, and I think you will like it. Either that or you'll be freaked out by it. Anyway, I'll leave it there for now. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.